November marks the 31st anniversary of the death of Kim Peterson. Peterson was one of the many victims of Salt Lake City's notorious serial killer, Arthur Gary Bishop.
Bishop killed 5 Salt Lake boys 30 years ago. In addition to the somber anniversary, a documentary on Bishop's crimes is currently in the works for the Discovery Channel.
Chris Jones has gone back in time, digging into our archives, and uncovered the raw, unedited confessions of Arthur Gary Bishop. Chris.
Well, a very select few have heard these audio tapes, and on them you hear Arthur Gary Bishop, who spent the last years of his life here at the state prison, talking about how he killed these 5 little boys. What you are about to hear, I want to warn you, it's very disturbing.
Scared.
Families formed watch groups.
In the late 70s.
Paranoid.
Youngsters fingerprinted by local police departments.
And early 80s.
Families were very concerned.
Salt Lake City.
Alonzo Daniel
was under the grip of fear.
Vanished from his Salt Lake City home.
He left the house at 8:45, and he was to be back in 30 minutes.
Little boys, Alonzo Daniels, Kim Peterson, Danny Davis.
The string of child disappearances began October 16th.
Troy Ward, Graham Cunningham began to vanish. 5 in all, without a trace.
Hey, maybe there's a connection.
Legendary prosecutor Bob Stott remembers the fear bearing down on Salt Lake City.
I think people began to realize, hey, maybe it's one person, and maybe that person's not through.
He was a sweet, loving little kid.
Cheryl Hanson's little boy, Troy Ward, vanished June 23, 1983.
Giving him his birthday boots 2 days ahead of time. He wanted cowboy boots.
It was his 6th birthday, and Troy had just gotten his gift early. He was wearing those boots the night he disappeared.
Went to go get ice cream to go with his brownies, because that's what he wanted, his brownies.
As she left her house, Cheryl saw a man sitting in his car outside her home.
He was reading the newspaper. He said he was waiting for his friend to come out of the store, so I didn't think anything of it.
That man, it turns out, was Arthur Gary Bishop.
And I came home, and he was gone.
Police began to question Bishop about missing boy Graham Cunningham, and without a stitch of emotion, Bishop methodically recalls how he killed the little boy.
I had a hammer close by. I just picked it up and hit him on the head with it while he was trying to get dressed.
When I was first able to look at the confession, I had a transcript, and also I had a recording of it.
Stott handles the case and listens as Bishop coldly recites what happened to Cunningham.
It wasn't so much what he said, and it was very detailed, very gruesome, but how he said it, the manner of his voice, because it was just like he was talking about what he had to eat yesterday. It was so matter of fact about the killing of these 5 little boys.
Okay, let me back up here a minute.
But as chilling as the taped confession is, it gets even more remarkable.
You said they.
As Bishop, with almost no prompting, begins to reveal even more dark secrets.
They or their or something like that, which was a plural type thing. And the reason I'm saying it is because if we're talking about one
Troy Ward, I kidnapped and killed.
And there came a point when he just suddenly confessed.
And this little kid came up and said, "Hi, how are you?" And it was Troy. And I said, "I'm fine," and I talked him into the car. So he hopped in very nicely. One thing, if you're wondering if it's true, he had cowboy boots on that you didn't have in any of your reports.
And then, to everyone's surprise, he kept confessing about more little boys.
Before we get really into this, how many others are we talking about here?
I think that's it.
Alonzo, the Peterson boy, Troy Ward, and Graham Cunningham. Now, I'm not...
Is there any others? I may have done one more. It seems like I did 5, so I'm not sure.
How about Danny Davis?
Danny Davis, I did.
He tells police how.
How many times did you strike him in the head with a hammer?
I think twice. Hit once and he fell down and goes, "Oh, my head," and I panicked and hit him again.
And where.
And then I just picked him up and threw him in the river.
In grueling detail.
Pulled down his pants and he started crying and yelling. So I hit him.
Mark, would you rather die than life in prison? Yes. Why?
On March 19, 1984.
This is Michael Rawson reporting live from the 3rd District Court in Salt Lake City. It is death for Arthur Gary Bishop.
Bishop is sentenced to die of lethal injection. Cheryl Hanson was in the courtroom.
I'm just glad it's over with and I'm happy.
Today, she's found some peace.
And I know where he's at, and I don't have to worry about where he's at. He's always on my mind. He'll always be on my mind.
For prosecutor Bob Stott,
well, it's gratifying to know that 12 people agreed with us that this case, the only just penalty was death.
The case will linger.
I suppose this is one that will always be in my mind.
Because of the crime, but perhaps more because of Arthur Gary Bishop's cold, disturbing honesty.
But I'm glad you caught me, because I couldn't stop, and I would go do it again if I had the chance.
Now, some light on this story. All of those bodies of those young boys were found and returned to their families. Earlier today, I was at the courthouse and I was going through some of the documents from this case, and I want you to take a look at this. I came across this, a signature by Arthur Gary Bishop, and it was eerie for me to be touching a piece of paper that were touched by the hands of a man who killed 5 young boys. Guys, back to you.
Chilling. Oh, all right, Chris, thank you.